Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 4 of my 5-part Thanksgiving special. Hopefully, we get some more people in because it is Thanksgiving Eve. If it is a thing. You know, probably, most people probably got off work early or schools had half days, etc. Um, I do have some interesting announcements. I might remind people later. I brought up back in part 1 how I had a photo somewhere of the LEAMAN temporary block station panel. And also, I had problems finding that 1959 PRR rulebook because I was looking for something about LEAMAN. Well, while looking for the LEAMAN thing, I found the rulebook and I found the panel photo. I've got them up on the website. You can see them all. I'll go to them at the end of the chat. So anyone who's around, I'll make that reminder. Anyway, today we are finishing up Cola Tower and then moving on to shocks interlocking before it was re-signaled. That's definitely a signal location that not a lot of people were able to get out to. I managed to get out there pretty easily, but it did take a little doing. So anyway, starting back at Cola Tower, here we have a better view of the air plant. Reservoirs, that little thing there is a dryer, a chemical dryer. I still don't know what this manifold is for. Let's see here. And here we see the airline. So there's of all the stuff we have in this interlocking here. Where is that? We have all this sort of main ladder. We got the 69 switch, the 77, 75, 73, 71, which might not have existed at this time. And no, I think they took that out. I think that 71 switch had been removed by the time, at some point in time. Because it's not, I don't think it's there now. Anyway, or maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't take a picture of it for whatever reason. At the other end, there's all by its lonesome was this little thing down here, the 41 switch. Yeah, this is definitely an older diagram because at some point they did a little additional spring trimming on Cola. This 74R was removed. This 44L was removed. And then these were converted from position to color light. And we'll see them. I'm not sure when. It was a while ago, but these diagrams always have weird inconsistencies about them. Yeah. See, that's where the 71 switch would have been, and then that had been removed at some point, along with the signal in there. But in the original bit, there was additional. While the ladder was slow speed, they had medium speed for the use of this siding to get in and out of it as a siding, while trains coming into the plant did this slow speed ladder. Anyway, as we're going over to the old 41 switch, which still exist, you can see that here's how the airline got down there. There's that 52R signal, and here's the airline after it went underneath the road. There's a crossing right by the tower, and where are we? There we are. There's the tower. Huh. It looks like the crossing was removed. That's interesting. Yeah, there was a crossing there. Look at that. And it was removed between 2017 and, wow. Well, there you go. Anywho, the airline went under the road at the crossing and then down. It's on its little old way there. Here we go. Just check that real quick. Here we have the rather extended eastern end of the interlocking. Even back in the day, it really didn't have a ton down here. If we go to the original thing, oh, it had an additional ladder. Oh, yeah, it just had the ladder. There was the Manor siding. This area would have had the 44L and then 43, 41 switch. When the 41 was removed, that 44L hung around till eventually being removed. This interlocking was quite long, so it kind of has like a west, a center, and an east. Today the east is quite small. Here we have another. Most large interlockings would often have two air plants. Amtrak's all did. This is a Conrail era. Back in the 30s, it would have been at the tower. You would have had more maintainers on hand. You would have engine taps. That's allowed a locomotive to pump air into the plant if there's a compressor or electrical failure. Eventually, in the Conrail era, you would have these little small compressor huts. In fact, you can see here, it's a fake. Look at this. The airline from the tower is not connected. So this compressor feeds this reservoir, feeding the pipe again, and all that was and that just feeds one pair of switches. So let's see if we can actually go down there. You can see how far down it is. You got to take a walk. Oh, this is 2024. Nope, no additional Google Street View. Let's see, can I get here 2011? So here we are in 2011. This is so weird. It's like they repainted all the signals just before they removed them. But this should let us see the air switches. Now, the airline is there, but they'd already replaced the switches, even if the signaling hadn't fallen yet. I have a weird feeling that I did go out to Kola, and to get more photos, but where are those? Where would those be? That's not the one. Here it is. I did go out there. Wait, hold on. That's 2016. Oh, I was just there briefly, and that would have been well after it had been resignaled. I'm almost positive that I got out there at some point. Maybe not. I thought I got out there while it was in the middle of being resignaled, or maybe I saw a photo of it being resignaled and I noticed that all of the air switches had been removed, and I didn't really care to go and get photos of stuff if it had already been zapped. Anyway. Here I have the 41 W switch. And same switch, but getting the angle here for the point machine. There we go. There we go. Got it. Next, we have the old airline and then the new air plant here. So what do we have here? Sorry, just getting the stuff going here. Yeah, this would have allowed them to and probably avoid a lot of issues with that long air run freezing up just down for a couple of switches. Something this short usually doesn't have much issue. And here we have the 43. So this is the old signal bridge, the 43E switch, and the airline. The still in service part of the airline at very least. Go. Get all that stuff in there. Perfect. Next page. We have the 41E point machine. Boy, that's a chunky air piston right there. Probably designed for moving 152-pound rail, which this might be, but I don't know. I wasn't checking right then. So even when I look in, I can't quite see what that would be. It looks like it. It absolutely looks like 152 pound. A lot of that 152 pound was at some point it was taken, especially at least on the Amtrak main line. I know they had at least on the Harrisburg line. I think when they pulled it off the NEC or places, they cut off the sort of the ends, which usually where it gets the most wear, and welded it, and then laid it on the on parts of the Harrisburg line. More recently, they just bought rail because steel, it's now the now closed rail. It would have come from the now closed rail plant in Steelton, and of course, Harris, PennDOT is going to support local PA industries. One second. There we go. And here we have, going back the other direction, the 41E. So we will be doing a run of stuff tomorrow during Thanksgiving. I mean, not during. It'll be late. So hopefully you're all done with your Thanksgivings. Anyway, here we have the westbound signal bridge plus replacement signals. I was wondering why they did those replacement signals, and it was likely when they were messing around with the interlocking, removing the simplifying it, etc. This grade crossing is still here, so that's a plus. The signal bridge is not. They did take it down. Note the signal bridge was put on stilts like the other one. I do have photos my friend took around 2004 of all this, of the entire Port Road. He walked a lot of it. I'd love to go. They're all in weird formats. Like I've done before, I have plans to go through them. They're about 300. That'll be like a 6-part series, and just go through and do a rename session on it all and make it available. And then here we have the 44R and 40R. So an interesting thing, we have a SafeTran modular dwarf there with stop and restricting. By the way, if you're wondering why, if that that signal bridge looked a little wide, it was 3-track through here. You can see the where the right-of-way used to be. That would go down about a mile to an interlocking called Manor, There was a lot of sightings in this area, possibly for to allow freights to sort of like, especially with the main line. You know, even back then, I bet that they had sort of, you know, slots or whatever to go on. So if they're coming out of the, you know, stuff moving around might have just been laying off, or something coming out of Manola might have been like would lay off cars for another train. I'm not entirely sure, but there were a whole bunch of sightings in this area. Center track stuff. Yeah, I'm not. It's all low grade, so you can't blame grades. So one interesting thing is that the mast isn't a typical Conrail tri-light. It's not a. It's not a. It's not a. What is that? Like an NR or like one of the US, one of the tight. It's an actual G head, like a New York Central style. Maybe they got some extra stuff left over. Those typically weren't bought much in the 80s when this would have been done. That was an obsolete design, but I guess they got them somewhere. Also note that the paint is faded, so before these were removed in 2011, 2012, they were repainted. So, and yeah, and the Dwarf was repainted too. You can see it. Where were we? I mean, yeah, look at this. That was both those were repainted. I told you that they did like a weird like right at the end of its life, end of life upgrade here on the Port Road. Not sure why, just a thing that happened. Also, the timing of this re-signaling project, which did start fairly early, they did start elements of it pretty early. Avoided some otherwise this would have been all Rule 562. So we're just about to finish up here with Cola, and I'm going to move on to shocks, and I'll explain how I got there. I was definitely inspired by some of my friend's stuff, what he was able to do. Oh, that's what I wanted to check. Let's see I wonder if that PRR whistle post is still here. It was there in 2011, and it's there in 2024. There you go. No one has stolen that PRR whistle post. Good for people. Yep, there's the whistle bracket. Pretty cool. Although it's definitely taken a couple of bullet hits. Alrighty. And here we have the old signal locations. So again, there was always a reverse direction dwarf, but this second high position light, which back in the day would have been the 48R, that was for the Manor siding. Which is interesting is you could enter it on a number 20 switch, which it would have been a number 20 turnout, but the best you could have gotten into it was, looks like restricting. Yeah. So they put a number 20 turnout into a restricted speed siding. I guess they had some plans there that didn't quite peter out. And I would normally crop that random signal head down there from the current 44L, but I'm going to keep it because it's gone too. So we have the 44R. Yes. Cool. And here we have a standalone image of the 44R with Cola sort of in the background there. I'm not sure what to really do with this. There's too much in the photo, really. And the 40R Dwarf. One second. Nope, almost got that wrong. All right, let's see what size this is going to be. Pretty big. Just checking this real quick. Next. All right. We're moving on to shocks. So the cola territory was pretty expansive, even though they had very little actual CTC. Heading east, you had another interlocking location. You had another interlocking location. There was Lake that is still there today. It's the end of the siding, of the center siding track. You can get to it very easily. There's a rock climbing hill. There's a bike trail. There's a tunnel. The old alignment had a little tunnel that it went through. All pretty popular these days. Lake used to be like a Y end. Now it just goes into one of the tracks. At this point, this is railroad west to the left and east to the right. The northernmost track was bidirectional. There were 2 blocks or 3 blocks going in one direction and 2 blocks the other. I think that was, I'm not sure why, probably because of stuff coming off the Royalton branch, if they couldn't cross it over. So Shocks is important because it's right near the famous Shocks Mill Bridge, almost a little mini Rockville Bridge as freight used to be concerned. A lot of it was washed out during Hurricane Agnes. That's why the middle part of it is now girder. That really, hurt the Penn Central at the time. Shocks here is the junction between the Royalton branch that goes off that way and the Enola branch. It also has an industrial track to this, what used to be an army like logistics center, one of those ones like built in the 50s, with like a lot of little warehouses and a lot of tracks. Boy, the Wikimapia is really being slow on pulling stuff up. Now they make acoustical tiles there. Shocks is also near the Rowena Rail substation. Typically, I guess you want to get to Shocks. One way to do it is you roll down this road here. Shocks is for Shocks Mill. That's what it's near the town of Rowena. Shocks Mill is where the bridge is. I don't know exactly where that town is. If you want to get down to the rail, if you want to get down here, typically how do we do this? I don't know. Where am I looking? I guess you go down there. What looks like a driveway. There's a dirt road. I guess you can get there via Main Street too. Yeah, you go down there, and then you go down that thing. That's not what I did, because I didn't know how to get there. That's the easy way. If you want to get down there, that's how you do the walk-in. I had my friend park on River Road, and I just booked it across the farm field. Normally, I don't like farm fields. Are one of those things where like typically it's not a big deal because there's nothing on them. The field had been plowed under for the year. Almost all farm fields are typically contract, so there's you usually know it's going to give you a bunch of crap running across one, but you also have nowhere to hide. So it was getting dark, so not dark, but it was later in the day, so I just booked it. Here's where I arrived at the code line there. I can get all ahead here, see where we're at. Here we go. So here I have both the pole line and the power feed. And this would be again that beautiful lead wrapped telecom line from the 1930s. Although you can see, especially on the PRR Main Line, had the same issue. It was getting a lot of attrition here, with trees falling on it and whatnot. It was built like a tank. You can see it's got the cable. It's the type of telecom wire where it's suspended from a steel cable, not just sort of worked into it like the PVC ones are, because it's weighed more. So this thing was and it's like armored. So this code line was definitely up to snuff. The area was starting to get and you'll see what's going on here in a second. So the re-signaling has already started here. This Jeb took a while. I don't know why this one was, but they were sort of doing here and there, all up and down the Port Road. Certain locations were getting it. Anywho. Oh, snooze. I need to make sure that I got the stuff ready. Let me just deal with a quick thing here. I need 213. Kind of screwed something up with this one. Is it 685? Yeah. Just seeing what I need to do with this. Probably should have left it alone. Yep, that'll work. Maybe I should have left that alone. Sorry about that. I'm just dealing with size issues. Okay, next. So here we have coming off the... So, shocks is interesting. It's the Royalton branch is nominally single track, although it has its sort of a terminal siding to it that's about 1 or 2 miles long. So you basically have the equivalent of a 2x2 flat junction, although no diamond, it has turnouts. But at the same time, it has with an additional industrial track lead. So here we are looking at the 112L dwarf signal off of the what they call the Jeb siding, because it goes between here and this thing called CP Jeb. This is the new signal here. Now, I don't know what this is going to be, so that presents a bit of an issue. Like, the old one is 112L. The new one is absolutely not 112L. So, yeah. I wonder what I called it back in the day. trim this a little bit. There it goes. And here, there's the Jeb siding. There's the Royalton branch. There's all the eastbound signals and their replacement. Their replacements. Let's see. Yeah, it's nice how, and this is still generally kind of there today. They might have cut down the stuff on the shot because this one is still used and that one is not. And I'm betting they cut down a lot of that. So yep, that works. Note we are definitely losing light at this point. Here we have the this is the 116L off the Royalton branch, and then both with a replacement and then a replacement on track 1 and NOLA branch, because that, again, it's going to get a 562 upgrade. At this time, the NOLA branch stayed rule 251 for quite a few years, like up into 2014-15. They actually unfortunately replaced a lot of the position lights with just color lights. They just rolled in, put in 251 color light masts, but they eventually put in Rule 562. This is this replacement was before they made the decision to extend Rule 562 cab signaling and embrace it on the main line. I mean, this is before the PTC push, too. This is just like typical, these interlockings are dying, we need to do something about it. Especially with all the 251 in this area. They would often send coal trains down the Royalton branch. They didn't need to do anything involving Onola Yard. So coal trains going to the Port of Baltimore would go right through Harrisburg down the Royalton branch, the return. They usually hang out, the eastbound sort of hang out at Harrisburg because they have a weird time because of the NEC. So they get there kind of early and then they probably do a recrew and then wait for a proper whatever time. Oh, wait, that is track 2. Yeah, these are all poorly labeled back in the day. And here we have both. This interlocking had a lot of weird stuff. You might have seen the 116L having a round lower bottom. Well, the track 1 mast had one too, and they're both safe train, and then the dwarf is still there. So I don't know what happened, but there was a lot of like stuff from the Conrail era going on here. I saw similar things up on the Buffalo line in some places where they'd clearly been doing some late model late model. We don't have the money to invest in redoing the wires. We'll just splice on some new hardware. So here we have the 110 and what the hell? I'm missing a signal. Oh, I'll check on the cola thing. $116 LC. Okay. That works. And the other one's 110? Yeah, that's what it seems like. And last one, we have a bit of a closer view of this. The darkness is really getting here. Stuff is starting to go blue. And here I just incorporated the cabinet. I guess I was just end on the cabinet. I couldn't really see it. Although the telephone box is there. Okie doke. That looks pretty good. And that's it for the second part. Here it chocks. All right, see if anyone has any questions here. Nope. Thanks for sticking with me. One person who's there. I told Brian I guess he couldn't make it today. I do like doing these. I do like doing these in a row as opposed to spreading them out. So here we have the 112L dwarf. This is you saw the replacement. The replacement is all the way down there because we do like to railroads say do like to shorten their interlocking limits, which is fair. This dwarf has seen better days. Though that bulb is broken out there. What's interesting is if we go to my friend's photos, do I have shocks in here? It's always hard to find these. Crest shocks. I could have sworn he had a photo of this thing with a broken bulb that had broken years before. I'm not seeing it. Lake. Sometimes he went multiple times and put them in a different... There's shocks. There we go. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it's like he has them both. He has them twice. Alright, whatever. Hard to tell, but this guy be broken. Oops. Sorry, just adjusting this. That got it. Perfect. Here we have our 116L with its replacement. This one is also interesting. If you notice, it has the red lenses. Most of the signals we've seen only have the Port Road and Nola branch were a holdout of all amber position lights. That was a major loss when we lost. When we lost it, we lost that too. And then here we have the opposite of these guys. Should I squeeze this in a little bit? No, I'll leave it the way it is. Definitely glad I decided to come out here. Oh, the reason I came out here is because I could see it from the road. I saw that the replacement signals were up, and then I needed to get my butt over there. Because you can see it's just the farm field's right there. There's the farm field, there's the pole line. I could see that the new signals were up, and that's why I came out. Alright, what's this? And walking across the tracks. Again, we got the safe train jobber here. Straighten this out just a little bit. There we go. So this again is the 110L. we go. That should get me under size. There we go. And here we have the side ones right here. Not sure if you can see my friend's car. Maybe you can. That might not, might be it all the way up there. I'm not entirely sure. Probably not. Who knows, maybe in 40 years I'll hobble my ass out here because these will be the last NS-style signals after Union Pacific is done with their, whatever they're doing. So this is going to be the 116... Wait, what is this one? 116 LC. I'm glad at least getting all these appropriately labeled, and I'm looking forward to doing the ones with my friend. Friend did back in '04 as well. At the very least, we can get them somewhat more searchable. But I'm gonna have other issues with that as well. But we'll see how that goes. I do have some ideas. This is the one, again, the 1tel L. Boy, so these 3Bs were kind of just out here, so it was easy for me to just sort of line them up and get all the photos. And I got a rail joint in this one, too. And then these two guys. Again. Hey, that pole's actually straight in this one. Good for me. All right, narrow that up. There we go. Perfect. Brighten it. There we go. Looking good. Here we have the air plant. I think there was just one, but I'm not sure. We'll see. This guy box, this stuff here is for point heating. I think that new one indicates a move to electric if they weren't electric already. No, they weren't. But that might indicate a move to electric, or maybe it was probably just a substation for the compressor. It's interesting that Conrail did, or PC or Conrail did invest in new air equipment as late as the 1980s. It seems those capital, the constraints on Conrail from spending money led them to not wanting to purchase new point machines, which were quite expensive. Another interesting thing, I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know. I may or may not have even had a cell phone at this time. Oh man, I cannot remember if I did it or not. I think I got one, and I'm a very late adopter with that sort of tech. At some point, I was not borrowing one, but I was on like a friend effectively like put me on their plan, but that didn't last long. I just got my own. Boy, but still, the stuff was pretty exorbitant back then. Okay, this is going to be I think it's the 113W switch. Yeah, so I missed the 115. That's like behind me, so whatever. I mean, missed it as in I don't know why I don't have a photo of it. Maybe I turned around. Note the Conrail style shrouds on these. When I was going down the main line, NS had ripped them all off in preparation for their resignaling. I think, yeah, I think, well, yeah, I think they'd all been ripped off. I bet that there was something about these that the maintenance, like, they might have had to remove, they probably didn't play well with track gangs or other stuff. It was mainly to enhance the, I'm not sure if it's to enhance the heatability or just prevent fires. So this would be the 113W switch. Of course, that's going to be oversized. Now, here's the 115. Look, even, does this say 15 or 115? So this says 15. I bet I would have labeled that as such. Let's see. All these are mislabeled or not labeled. Okay, that says West Air Plant. See, I labeled this the one switch. 15, yeah, these are all wrong. So this is there. If there's a west, there's got to be an east air plant then. So I know this as the 115, not 15. I bet maybe Conrail shortened it to 15. Oh, there's no W. There's only one on this one. Nothing reversed, just straight railed down the way. Cool. Oh, that's it for round 3. Getting a lot closer here. Let's do 12 more, and then we'll see where we're at. It's too many if I finish shocks, but not quite enough if I cut early. Oh, there is a second air plant. There you go. All right, let's see if anybody had any questions. Yeah, I go back to Chicago about once a year. I would like to do some Metro Electric stuff. I want to go down to the South Chicago branch. This year, I think I'm just going to go to Western Ave for my. I only have a limited time that I can do stuff. I do want to do South Chicago, but that might take up a lot of the morning, and it's kind of slow. So I got to figure out what I want to do with that. There we go. For the 115 switch. Okay, 113 switch. Cool. Oh, don't give me... Oh, hold on. I got it. And here we have the 113E switch just there. See, no shroud there. It's the direct propane burner. Man, it's just beautiful. They had all these just air switches out. Only a couple places left to see these, mainly on the NEC, and you really can't just go hang out there. What's the other one? I think it's the 111. Oh, 109. What does this guy say? 109. No. 113. Oh, that is... I was saying that looks like a 100, but I think that's the scan, an issue with the scan. I am not entirely sure that, apart from a couple interlockings on the NEC, specifically Holmes and River and Fulton, if you want to count that one, if it's even near in a tunnel. I don't think there are any more commercial mainline pneumatic interlockings in the U.S. anymore. This is the 111. Here's the 111. I'm not sure what the last ones would have been. You do have the Caltrain San Francisco 4th and King terminal doing its thing. But I don't know of any others. Oh, no. What is this? That looks like 113E. Is that? I thought I got that guy already. Oh, it's over there. Yeah, that's the 109. The The 109W. They've been moving these things around probably. Yeah. So this is going to be the 109E west switch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the loss of pneumatics is such a shame. There's just all sorts of cool stuff you need to make them work. They've got the sound and stuff to go with them. I'm trying to think which ones existed that were. So there's the 107 switch, yes, and this is the 109, 109 W or E, and then the interlocking thingy there. I don't even think I need. This is like the rare one I don't need to crop because everything in this frame is important. Might crop the top. We'll see. Ooh, that's big. You have to just reduce the quality on this. Yep, that got it. All right, next. I could definitely see what I was going for back then. Very shot efficient picture taking. So here again, I've lined up the 109E switch A5 and CP valve unit with the 107 behind and the other signals all the way down there. Oh man, this is mega again. Come on. Here's the east. This is interesting. It's on the so two things here of note. The east air plant is on the opposite side of the right of way. So at some point, you know, the airline has to like duck under it. And second, the interlocking horn is on the compressor. That's interesting too. I bet there's a the dispatcher could sound the horn. In theory, it was to communicate with signal maintainers who might have been there before radios. But it's this is a really neat example of an interlocking horn. And here we have the 109 switch looking the opposite direction. Also, today I will go out and it will take me the better part of half an hour to do all this stuff. My friend was waiting, so I was definitely on the hop here. Trying to even this up. Got it. Here's the 107 switch. Note there's the wedge. When these die, you can't hand crank them. You've got to spike and wedge them, especially if the air goes. They don't lock in place. They become unreliable if the air is not. It's not like the rules say that if you have a low air failure beyond a certain point, the air switching system can't be relied upon to keep it whatever. They're probably fine, but it's probably like if the point moves, they probably triggers like an auto restore that doesn't work when there's no air. So you always see the wedge, if you know what to look for around one of these guys. And finally, here we have the 112R and its replacement. Note, I want you to again. I'm not sure how common. It's got to be more common than I thought. The ones on top are at the near the limit of the little fan there, where these guys are constricted quite a bit inward. Specifically the crossbar ones, not this guy on the thing. He's right near the top. There's about an inch or two that they suck them in. Something I didn't notice before. I might I might have enough content for a blog to make a blog post out of that. Oops. What I say that was the 112R. All right, and the last one, the new eastbound or westbound track 1 signal. Or westbound, yeah. Track 1 new. So at the risk of going overtime tomorrow, well, let me just see. That's all for, in theory, official. We might go a few over. I know that people might want their Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I've pulled off a whole bunch of things. So let's just see what we got right now. Got that. Well, let's see what people are talking about in the chat, if anything. We have anybody around? Nah, just the one. Let's see. I've got 57 to do tomorrow. That's a long one. Just seeing how this is going to go down. 57. So let me do 5 more now, and that'll be. We'll split it between today and tomorrow. I can do 6. Just do these last bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 5. Wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I'll do 7 to now. That hits me to a break, and these are quick. All those load. So we're going to take a look here at the westbound signals. The dwarf is the 110R. Again, note again, this is Safe Train Systems. This stuff would have been available starting in around 1980 or so. I don't. Oh, that's weird. We got a cockeyed signal, but everything else is telling me that that the signal is tilted, not the camera. So Conrail was definitely using PLs up through about the mid 80s. But around the 90s they kind of stopped. I don't, every so often, of course, if they didn't want to wire something. I could see these being somewhere maybe when they were closing the tower around 86. They might have come in and done a little bit, but I just can't tell. It's tough to know. Oh, this is the 110R. And here we have the 112R with its replacement. This one did not get its weird end of life repaint like like a bunch of its the ones that Cola did. I'm wondering to the extent that the PTC thing actually saved some of the stuff like at Cola. Because once they knew they had to do the PTC, I wonder if that froze all signaling investment for a little while. All right, that got it. Yeah, it looks like it was a little cockeyed. This one does not have a broken bulb like the Royalton branch one does. That's a plus, but still restricting only. You know, stop and restricting only for reverse direction operations. What am I doing here? The signal wires are sort of out and about. That tends to happen during a replacement. They'll dig stuff out so that they're available. See how this goes. This is the 112R and its replacement. Do a little bit better on that. Perfect. Don't need to deal with that. Okay, next. This one, I'm just gonna... clearly my authorial intent was to exclude the other guy, and I am going to absolutely follow my intent there. Again, this is the 23rd, so this was an earlier Thanksgiving, like much earlier. I think that this was Black Friday. Or maybe not. Maybe this is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm like, no, it was Black Friday in 2007. Shows you how the weird the calendar can get. Yeah, this was Black Friday. We had an almost fourth. Yeah, the Thursday was a first, so this was the earliest that Thanksgiving can be. Interesting. I was wondering why everything looked like had all the leaves on the trees. And also, you know, a little bit lighter too. Probably about 10 minutes more of daylight on this or something. Here we have our lower head with its slightly compact doohickeys there. and the upper head. Even out of focus, these always look fantastic at night. And you're going to see that as we get to the end of the thing tomorrow. And that's going to bring us to the finally the end of the day. Thank you all. Thank the one guy for hanging out with us. I definitely appreciate it. Other folks, thank you for listening along with this. Remember, like I said, I have found the LEAMAN panel photo, so that's something will come with that soon. And the 1956 PR rulebook has been restored online on my web space. So that'll be up. I don't know why I can't find that, but hopefully Google will index that. Anyway, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving, and hope you, for the 2 people here, I hope you spend it with me tomorrow. I love chatting with you. We'll get this all finished up. This is a truly fantastic set of photos from 2007. One of my better ones from back in that era, when I was not doing my job left and right. I got it done this time. Anyway, have a great day. Feel free to throw any questions in, and have a happy Thanksgiving.